Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us for this webinar today, and thank you for joining us from the other link that we sent you. Just by way of introduction, I'm Laura Angus. I'm one of the registrars.
I'm Daniel Waller, competition lead here at the core.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm change manager.
Great. If we can have the next slide, please. Just a little bit. If we could have all questions submitted via the chat, and we'll answer them. We'll try and theme up in the questions that come, and we'll answer them at the end. I've already had one set of questions that's come in by email, and I'll address that separately to the person who emailed that to me, so that's no problem. And we've muted you all. So just to explain also that we are recording and this will be placed on our website. But please do feel free to add any questions in the chat and we'll. Great. So thank you for bearing with us while we've talked endlessly for at least the last 2 years about the change programme. And many of you have seen or been with us on this journey while we've talked about what we're building and the changes that are going to be going on. But this is really just a chance to kind of train you and show what the changes are going to be for you. So we're going to be introducing and showing you today this new portal, which is a two-way interactive portal, which is going to be mandatory for professional users once it's rolled out. You'll see that for the most part, we've digitalized our forms. So you won't be downloading a PDF and filling it in. You'll be filling out information within the portal. The good news is that for anybody following cases, as well as those involved in cases, are you able to spotlight your screen? So perhaps I can still see it, so I'm not sure.
I think maybe if you double click the screen, it should make that bigger if it's not spotlighted.
Oh, so you can see me and Laura a bit better on screen. No, we want you to be able to see the slides. So I think that's probably better. Thanks, Nicola. So hopefully you can see the slides. Sorry, just to carry on and say that there's going to be a case tracker via our new website, which is going to show people the live updates as to what's going on with cases. So that will be for people using the portal, but also people following the status of the case from outside. We'll be doing payments via the portal. So either you can pay by credit or debit card, and that must be done before you're able to complete the filing on your case, or you have to confirm where you've made an electronic bank transfer, where you've already made that bank transfer to pay for the application that you're making. All task management will be done via the portal. And there's this new concept that we'll be introducing you to, which is called electronic service, which will be done via the portal. And all document management will be done via the portal. Just a couple of the benefits listed below, but I won't go into that too much because I know that we've talked to you about that ad infinitum. So next slide, please. So really what we want to do is to highlight to you, the users, what are the main things you need to look out for, and what what do you need to kind of know when you get started in the portal. So one of the things that we've done is that when you're filing, for example, your permission to appeal, we're asking you to file all of your documents up front. So for permission to appeal, that would be the order that you're seeking to appeal, the refusal of permission to appeal from the lower court, the judgment under appeal, obviously your grounds. So all of that we want you to file up front, together with filling out the form via the screens on the portal. But the good news for you is that you then don't need to subsequently get all those documents together again to file a PTA bundle. So there's a bit more to do upfront, but you don't need to make that PTA bundle because we'll already have those documents and we won't ask you to file them again. I've already mentioned this next one, but payment must be made in full to submit the application. We do, of course, double check that the correct payment has been made, but please be prepared to make that payment or confirm that you've made it when you're in the portal ready to press send with your application. So this is one of the biggest ones, and it's very new and it might be kind of tricky to get your head around it. At the moment, if, for example, you were filing a permission to appeal, you would serve your Form 1 and your accompanying documents on the other side, then you would file it at the court. So you don't do that in this new world. You are in the portal, you fill out the various screens asking the questions, which more or less, you'll see later, reflect the current Form 1, which asks you questions about the permission to appeal. And you then press file or submit, and you wait. You serve it on the respondent. We ask that you wait, and then registry will look over the documents that you filed, check that everything that is there that we need, check that the correct fee has been paid, and then we will issue. Once we've issued, we notify you via the portal, and we say to you, now go away and serve the application for permission to appeal on the respondent. Now, as a general rule, we'll ask you to serve it in the normal way that you've been doing up until now in the proceedings. For the most part, that's done by email sort of these days once you get to our stage in the court, but you'll go away, you'll serve it probably by email. What that will be a downloaded document, which is a PDF confirming or summarising all the information you've given to the court, plus all the additional documents that you will have filed with the court. So your grounds of appeal, your copy of the order under appeal, all of those additional documents. You'll go away, you'll serve them on the respondent or respondents. And then when you have done so, you come back into the portal and you confirm that you have served. You confirm the method of service and you confirm who you have served on. Now, at that point, we go within the portal, we send a notification out to the respondent. That's the first time we're in touch with the respondent. And we say, oh, we've just been notified that you've been served as a respondent in X case. We would like to invite you to join the portal as a portal party in this case. So that's how the respondent then comes in and becomes a party to the case on the portal. From then on, everything is served via the portal. So that's what we mean when we say electronic service. So in order to facilitate this, we've got new rules, and I know there are questions about people kind of confused about the rules, but do hang in there. We've got new rules, new practice directions coming, and a new, crucial, I think, new portal practice direction, which probably sets out and answers a lot of the questions that you've had about it. So hang in there, we're literally, as we speak, finalising those documents, and they will really help to kind of with the understanding on how all of this works, but this webinar is also designed to help with that as well. So next slide, please. So where can you access information and resources? As I've just said, the new rules and the practice directions, we think they're very clear. We've really thought portals working, and we've really thought about what explanations you need in order to successfully use the portal. So please do refer to those in the first instance. We have a very clear and very thorough portal practice direction. There's also going to be a list of FAQs and guidance documents, including guidance for uploading electronic bundles. So what I'll ask of you as professional users is that you go away and read those documents and take them on board and do the work that, frankly, you're paid to do before you come and ask questions of the registry. So that is a bit of a change in practice. I know that, just by nature of time, the time that's gone on, that the rules have kind of fallen out of practice with the practice directions, and so there's been lots of questions. Which one is up to date? Which one should I follow? And the rewriting of the rules and the practice directions will mean that you've got one source of the truth, and you will be able to sort of believe what you're reading in the rules and practice directions. So do go there in the first instance for what you need to do. Next slide, thank you. We're aiming to go live with the new website and the case management portal in December, and we've got our new rules coming into force in December as well. But crucially, and we do want to flag this to all of you on this webinar, is if you have a case that will be coming and filing with us in the next couple of weeks, do get in touch before you file it, because we may be able to get you onto the portal under our soft launch, which we're currently doing now. So please do get in touch if you've got a case that you think is coming up within the next couple of weeks, because we will, and we'd love to engage with you to get you onto the portal a little bit earlier. So next slide, please. Great, so I'm going to pass you over to Dan, who's really going to go through a step-by-step process of how to file a PTA, and we'll address some of the comments that came back to us with people who did some of the user testing with us.
One moment, I will share my screen so you can see.
Sorry, I'm just going to address this question. Does that include cases which are currently listed for hearings? I should have said actually that there is going to be a period of time when we've got kind of old cases and new cases. Anything new and that's going to be portal based will have to start as a portal case. So anything that's kind of currently in the system is what we'll call an old case. And they'll be subject to the old rules, the old practice directions, which of course will still be available on our website, but no, anything currently listed, it will not be able to go onto the portal. Apologies, thank you, Dan.
No problem. Obviously, the first step is logging into the portal. If you already have an account, you'll go to sign in, but if you don't, you'll go to register. Clicking register takes you to a registration page where you'll put in your email address and then click the send verification code. That will then email you a 6-digit verification code. This is just to verify that your email address is a genuine one. You will come back to this page, set up your password, put your name in, and then create your account. It's a really very straightforward process. We try to make it as straightforward and simple as possible. If you already have an account, as I say, you would go to sign in, put your email address, your password in, click sign in. This would take you first off to the landing page, which is just sort of a welcome page. This tells you where you are. The Supreme Court, Privy Council, Case Management Portal tells you what you can do here, file permission to appeal, or notice of appeal, make submissions, payments, correspondence, see your case progress, and contact the registry. You would then go to My Cases, and this is where you would either file your first case if you don't have any, or view the status of your existing cases. As you'll see here, I have a large number here. What I'm sharing with you here is our test server, where I've been doing a lot of work in putting multiple cases in, just testing all the different potential journeys to make sure that we cover every single possible option. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is file a new case. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through the first couple of pages as if filing a new case, and then I'm going to take you to a case that, in the best tradition of Blue Peter, is one I made earlier, where I have filled in most of the information already, so you're not having to sit there watching me type. But to file a new case, you simply click on the File a New Case button. The first question you get asked is, are you legally represented? Now, obviously, for most of you, the answer here is going to be yes, because you are the legal representatives. But what we have built for with the portal, simply for our litigants in person, is what we're calling an eligibility checker. Now, at the moment, we do have a scenario where litigants in person will try and start proceedings with us rather than coming to us a final court of appeal. So they file applications, they make a back transfer for something that we have no jurisdiction for. Now, in those circumstances, we clarify that we don't have jurisdiction, and we do normally, unless there's some particular reason, we do return the filing fee. However, that does mean that the person needs to come up with that filing fee in the first place, which is not an insignificant amount of money. So by clicking no to legally represented, and then selecting which court, and in this case I'll do Privy Council, because this is a Privy Council meeting, and I'll do a PTA, they get taken to this eligibility check. This is like a very, very cut down version of the actual application form. And rather than asking all the questions that the normal application asks, it just asks a few key ones and asks for a couple of sorted documents. It's just enough to give registry enough information as to whether we actually do have jurisdiction for this matter. This service, there's no fee for, so litigants in person will upload their relevant documents, put in a few pieces of information, and then we can evaluate it. And if they do have jurisdiction, we do have jurisdiction, we go back, we tell them that, and then we guide them through to the process of filing a formal application. If they don't have jurisdiction, we can tell them very quickly without the need for them to pay the fee. So this is something new that we have brought in. But obviously, if you are someone representing a party, you're not going to go through the eligibility check, because I would hope that you would know whether we do have standing to hear the case. So you start off, file a new case, legally represented, yes. Again, the question Supreme Court, Privy Council. And then again, the question, what are you filing, PTA, NOA, etc. And you'll get taken to this screen here. Now, the general design of this screen probably looks familiar to anyone who's used HMRC's website or DVLA's website. During the course of designing the portal and the whole the website package that goes with it, the website will be going live beginning of December separately. We have taken on board all government digital services guidance on how accessible a page should be. We are, is it WCAG? Information. So it's the 2.2, which is the most up-to-date accessibility it's a worldwide standard. We try to make it as simple, as clear, as plain as possible. You can see that there's 4 steps you need to proceed, and within each of those steps, where appropriate, there are sub-pages, and you can see how far you are through a process. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you to one, as I say, that I started filling out earlier, because something I should tell you about this portal, it remembers the work you've done. So if you have half filled an application, you don't have to finish it all in one go and then click submit. You can start the application, go away and close it, go away, check some information, come back and fill it in. You're not tied into doing it all in one go, which I clearly hope is a lot easier for you. Now, you'll notice this has taken you, when I've got into it, it hasn't taken you to that 4-box screen. It's taken you to the landing page or the summary page for that particular case that I started filling in the information in for. As you can see, some of the information is missing, the things like case name and the case ID. Because it hasn't been submitted yet, it hasn't been issued, so we don't have a case name or a case ID. The case status is in draft. It's a permission to create application, so it gives that information there. The created on date, that's when I started creating this one. As you can see, I started it today. Submitted on is blank because it has not yet been submitted. Court at the jcpc, and submitted by where that should be created by is me. I will go into case details, and that will take us to those 4 boxes that I mentioned earlier. I'll click on the first one, enter or view application information. And as you'll see, it's taken me to page 4 because that's where I left this application when I was doing it. I'd done pages 1, 2, and 3, left on page 4. So when I closed, the portal remembered. What I'm going to do is take us back to page 1 and just take you through the pages at a little bit of a canter, just so you can see the information we're filling in. Now, 90% of this is a straight rip of what was in the existing Form 1. It's information you're already very used to giving us. There are a couple of new questions, and as we get to those, Laura and I will explain the reasoning for those questions. So the initial application, replacing the Form 1, is slightly longer than it would be with the current Form 1s. However, the benefit of the portal is that subsequent applications, such as extension of time, putting in your notice of objection or notice of acknowledgement, anything like that, actually takes significantly less time. At the moment, when you're submitting your notice of acknowledgement or notice of objection, you're using current Form 2, and you're filling in a lot of information again. You're putting in the party names, case name, who's representing that, etc. That information isn't necessary going forward when you're putting an application in because you're in the portal, a page for that particular case. It knows who the representatives are. It knows who you are. It knows who the parties are. We don't need to put that information again. So yes, we have a couple more questions in the very start, but overall, it's a net saving in your time. Going through the form, as you can see, fairly simple questions. Name of the court, body you're seeking appealing, what country is it in, who are the judges, is it a criminal case, yes, no. The main reason for this question, as most of you will know, criminal cases don't attract a fee. So if yes is selected here, the system knows it's a criminal case and it won't ask for fees. When we get to those points, the fees will be 0 rated. We should stress, however, that if it's not a criminal case and you click yes to try and get around the fees, which I'm sure none of you will do, we will flag it up, or we'll raise a payment request, and we will alter it into being a non-criminal case. The question of are you applying to cross-appeal an existing case? If yes, we ask you to give us the ID so we know which case you're applying. The date of the order you're appealing, the date of the order of refusal permission, if different, that's an optional field. Neutral citation number, the hearing start date, a brief description of what was decided in the order, and now I'll pass to Laura.
So what we want here and what we're asking for is something completely uncontroversial. We're asking for a factual decision. So, for example, appeal dismissed, costs in favour of respondent. Something that don't worry about this box. We really aren't asking for submission at this stage. We really are asking you what happened in the court below and what was the decision that you're seeking to appeal. Very, very briefly and succinctly. But we have had people asking, what exactly do you want here and what's the purpose of this? It's just so that, when we're looking over the case, we can see what it is you're seeking to appeal and what happened below. And you'll see this is variations on the theme as we go through the questions.
The next one you're asking us to do in relation to the order being appealed in the original order. If it's a civil matter, the estimated value of the claim. As you know, with Privy Council cases, depending on the value of the claim, the fee levels are different. So similar to the above question in relation to whether it's criminal or civil, where it will 0 rate if it's criminal, depending on which option you pick here, the system works out the appropriate fee level. So although obviously we publish our fee rates, you don't need to go off and cross-reference because the system knows, and when you get to the final stage, it will say the fee for this application is X amount. So you don't need to question. Next is asking a short summary of the facts of the case. Again, I'll pass to Laura.
Similarly, this is really just what can you tell us that's completely factual and non-controversial about the case. So a claim originated out of a contract dispute. These were the date. The first hearing was on X date. The judge decided to dismiss the claim. permission to appeal was granted on X date. At the appeal was dismissed. Very, very factual, non-controversial, just a brief summary, and what's the nub of the issue. And don't worry, again, this is really just for us as actually the registrars to review and have a look and just see what this case is about at first glance. So don't send yourself into kind of concern about drafting this. Please don't spend too much time on it.
And the next box is just ask you to provide keywords to assist us in indexing, which is something we ask at the moment. Yeah. So that's not a new field. Next page is anonymity and expedition. What we have tried to do is group similar topics together on the pages. So the things that fit together naturally. So the key information on page 1 and page 2 considerations and page 2 we'll come to in a moment. Now, 3 options here. If you're applying for an order for anonymity where one doesn't already exist, you're applying to extend an order of anonymity that was made earlier in the proceedings, or no, it's not needed. One of the reasons we're asking this question so early on is because we, as part of the case tracker, are going to be providing much more information on our cases on our website. As I'm sure you're familiar with, at the moment, PT applications, the results are published once a month. And if a case doesn't get past the PTA stage, all it ever exists on our website is as part of that document saying permission was not granted. Cases only get a case page if they progress to hearing. Going forward with our new website, all cases filed on the portal will have their own page. Cases that, again, don't pass permission stage will have a very small page on our website, but cases that go to hearing and judgment will have much larger pages. Because of that, because that information goes up pretty much straight away on the point of issue, we need to make sure that if there are anonymity concerns, we're aware of them early on. Now, if there were anonymity orders at the earlier stage, we'll probably pick that up from the copy of the judgment that you would have uploaded as part of this application. But it is very helpful for the court if you flag here if there are anonymity concerns. And this is both if your party is one who's been anonymised or if the respondent in this appeal was anonymised at a lower level, please flag it here so that we know or we can ensure there's no breaches of any anonymity for information going up on the web. So, as I say, the options, and if yes, briefly explain why. Urgently, this is expedition. Again, yes, no. Again, urgency, expedition, if there are valid reasons for it, not just because you'd like it heard quickly, there needs to be a genuine reason for it to take precedence over other cases in our work streams. So think carefully before you click yes here. It needs to be a valid one. And if the court decides it's not a valid request, it will not be expedited.
And I think we should just give the warning here that it's not appropriate to tick that box without good reason, and the court won't think likely of parties who abuse that feature.
Yeah. Then the next page, considerations, so things like legal aid, if you're applying for an extension of time, if you want us to depart from a previous decision of the JCPC or similar, asking for details there, asking if you want a hybrid hearing. Again, I've clicked no for these just for speed, but if you yes, it's just brief details in there.
And just the fact that we're really trying to push the accessibility, and so do ask for the hybrid hearing. If you think you're going to need it, you're not bound by it. But I think the justices are much more willing to grant it, certainly on reasons of keeping costs down.
Okay. The last page is the chronology of proceedings. Now, this is a new question, and this is quite literally, we're just asking for the details of the previous hearings in these proceedings.
So just the substantive hearings. So we don't need to hear about all the case management hearings, but really just, what happened at first instance, like I sort of described earlier, what happened at first instance, when was permission to appeal granted, for that first appeal, what happened in that first appeal, and obviously, I acknowledge that not every case follows this format, but we're really just trying to get in that chronology a flavour of how this case has got to here. Where was permission granted, if it was granted, and we really want to be able to see at a glance, how long has the case taken to get to here? How long did it take for the first appeal to be heard? Things like that. It's so helpful for us to see. So thank you for taking on that new change.
And actually, they're fairly simple questions. The name of the court, the judgment date, the recitation, the hearing start date, who were the judges, a brief description of what was decided. I'm just going to type some nonsense in here for the example, and the date of the order refusing grant permission, if applicable. As I say, that's a non-mandatory one, so it can complete, it will accept it without a problem. Excuse me. And you'll see here that one has appeared, and then you can add the additional proceedings. But for this example, I'm just going to leave it at the one, and I'm going to complete this step one of the process by clicking the complete button. It will now take us back to those 4 boxes, and you will see that step one, with the best tradition of government websites, is now green, little tick, it's complete. So now it's step 2, step 3, and step 4. Step 2 is entering party details. Again, I had pre-filled this information but not completed it, so I'll just take you through. As you'll see, you can add individuals or organisations as parties. Taking you through, I've gone with Jane Smith and David Wilson because I ran out of inventive names to use because I've done so many of these demo cases. You'll see I've added Jane Smith as an individual, title being optional, first name, last name, country, I think the appellant. If there's more than one appellant respondent, where are they in the hierarchy? Do they have a litigation friend? I'll just click no for this. But if you, yes, it will take you through and ask for details of litigation friend, who's representing them, solicitor, direct access, self-representing, or you don't know. We fully expect that I do not know will be quite rare by the time we get to it, because there will probably have been 2 or 3 rounds of litigation before, but we do realise that sometimes things change between hearings and there are situations, so there is an option there. So, tell us you don't know. I put for this, I promoted myself as the solicitor here. Going into the view, we'll just show you how you add the solicitor. So I put my firm in, Waller LLP, my name, my email address, my telephone number, SRA number or equivalent. Just to say about the SRA number, the pure reason we're asking for that, we're not tracking you or reporting you or anything like that. It's purely to help us avoid duplicate records on our system with people with the same name. So it's an optional field. It just helps us because we know that individuals will have unique SRA numbers, but there are, I don't know how many John Smiths in this country. I'm not quite sure how many of those are solicitors, but I'm sure there's a couple. So it's just to help us make it nice and clear. Complete. The next question it asks after solicitors is counsel. We've made counsel optional at this stage, and as you can see, I've left it blank. We know that generally, by the time you come to a permission application, you have got counsel, but there are times where you might not. So we don't want to make that a mandatory field. We don't want to handicap you at any point here. Adding counsel later can just be done by contacting the court through the correspondence function, which I'll show you in a little bit. So I'll just complete this, which is finishing information that I'd already put in earlier, as I mentioned.
And just to flag here that when you're asked about the parties to the case, you're not just adding the party that you represent, so you need to add in who the respondent or respondents are.
And their representatives. And once done, click complete. And again, now step 2 is great. Step 3, uploading or viewing supporting documents. There are a few mandatory documents for a PTO process and a number of optional ones. I've uploaded 3 of the required ones already, so there's just one left, which is the judgment related order I want to appeal. So I'm going to upload that. Unsurprisingly, to do so, click upload. It takes you to an upload section for that type of document. The reason it doesn't take you to straight to uploading that file will become clear on the next screen when I click upload file. It's because you can upload redacted or confidential documents here as well. So if, for example, there's a confidential version and this upload function is the same for all documents, there isn't normally going to be a confidential or redacted version of a judgment, but it's the same upload process for all documents, so it's in here. You choose the file. It's quite a simple process. I'm just going to wait for it to pop up. This is my test judgment document. I'm going to say it's not confidential, not redacted. Click upload. Uploaded successfully. Takes you back to this screen, where I then have the option to click on upload again if I need to upload a confidential or redacted version of said document. But I'm not going to do that on this example for time. I click complete, and you see that judgment rate order you want to appeal now has a tick as well. That is the 4 mandatory documents. So I can now complete this section. And again, we're back to the 4 boxes. And step 3 is green. Now the most important part, making payment. As you see, the system has worked out what the fee is based on the value of the claim. You have 2 options here. You can either make or confirm a payment, or you can apply for help with fees. Applying for help with fees, obviously, something generally we get from our litigants in person. We appreciate those of you working for clients pro bono, maybe using this option as well. So that will take you through the process of applying for help with fees for this particular application, or whichever what you're doing. This screen is the same for all subsequent applications as well. Or you can make or confirm payment. I'm going to go make or confirm payment, where it takes me to 2 options. Here, I can either pay by credit card or give details of BACS transfer I've already made. The BACS transfer details are on this page. So I know a number of you will have these from your previous contact with us, but they're replicated here. If you click pay by credit card, it will take you to a credit card payment screen. I'm not going to do that because I'm not putting £500 in my credit card. So I'm going to give details of an imaginary transfer payment I've already made. I'm sure a number of you will be familiar with the BACS information sheet that we circulate at the moment for payments. This is the same information here. Ask you to put in the amount you paid, which in this case 500. As you see, the amount that's appeared up there as well. And then we ask you for the details of the bank it came from, account holder name, payment reference, and payment date. This is all just to help us reconcile the fee and if there are any issues raised as appropriate. Click continue. I'll put that information in. Excuse me. And it says, we'll take a screenshot for your reference if you wish, but it's saying that here that you've said, or I have said, I have made this payment. And as long as that is what's arrived in their account, that's absolutely fine. All 4 steps are green now, and you can submit. Before I submit, though, I'm going to show you this. This is something we've built in. This is the ability to export a copy of the application. If I click on this, what will happen, whirling away in the background, your browser will look at all the information you put in these various pages and download it as a PDF. I just open that PDF. Right. You will see all that information we put in during this process is replicated here. You can export this midway through the process. So if this actual filling in of this is being done by a junior associate, paralegal, outdoor clerk, or similar, they can export this, bring it to senior partner for verification, and then come back and complete. We've tried to make this system really as friendly as possible and think about all the possible options. I'm now going to click Submit. Confirms that it's submitted. The case name and ID to be defined because they get assigned at the point that we actually issue your claim. As you'll see, what happens next, we'll review submission, any queries, we'll be in touch. I'll just close this. And if I go, and it takes me back to the summary page for this case. And when we get there, you will notice that the status has changed from draft to submitted. As your case progresses, the case status changes. So this gives you a quite detailed track of where your case is in the process. And there is a guidance document, that one of the guidance documents that Laura mentioned earlier, that lists through what all these case statuses are and what they mean. There is also a smaller list of case statuses, a more general one that reflects on our website, which acts as a case tracker for the general public. So the general public can see here it's been listed, etc. All information that we are happy to share at the moment, but that we don't have a mechanism for doing so via our website. What I'm going to do now very quickly is just show you the first service, or rather confirmed service process that Laura mentioned earlier. I'm going to go back to my cases, and this is a case I prepared earlier, the imaginatively named Jack Sparrow versus Hector Barbosa, because as I say, I really run out of names. You should, if we look at some of the others, I've got Robin Hood and Prince John, Smith and Jones, Dawson versus White Star. For those wondering, yes, that is Rose Dawson from Titanic, and White Star is the company who built it. I really was getting desperate for case names. This case has been issued, as you can status, it's been issued, and down here, there are two correspondence points from the court. The first was at the point it was submitted, was this correspondence. I'll just pop up and show you, which is goes out and says, it's been submitted. Registry expect to turn it around next 3 to 5 working days. We'll be in touch. Not yet been issued, so you should not serve if instructed to do so. You can log in at any time. All correspondence will be dealt with through case correspondence, but every time there is a piece of correspondence, or every time something is filed on the case, all parties involved in the case get an email telling them something has happened, and that's part of the continuing electronic service that Laura mentioned earlier.
That's also in the rules, and that's also kind of a transparency point, which is that every communication to the court should involve the other side. Of course, there are times when that's not appropriate, and there is a confidential channel that you can use, but that should be used sparingly and only in the appropriate circumstances.
The second piece of correspondence is the one confirming that you've issued the permission to appeal, telling you you've got 72 hours to download the application. That would be that extract that I showed you, because what you would serve as part of first service is that PDF extract and also copies of the supporting documents. That's what gets served off portal. So it tells you must do this. So going back to the case summary, I'm going to take you through the service declaration. Click on the service declaration button.
So you've gone away and you've served the respondent the documents that you need to serve, which is that downloaded PDF and the supporting documents. Now you're coming back into the portal to confirm that you have served the respondent.
And if there are multiple respondents, each respondent will have their own individual confirm service button, so you can confirm how you've served each one. So confirming service, fairly straightforward process. Click confirm service. We ask who you served. Now, Barry, that's the solicitor I put in as a respondent on this. We do appreciate you're not actually serving the individual, you're serving the firm. The reason we ask for the person is because the system is going to be sending them an email inviting them to join the portal. So we really need a name for that. We don't want this to be going to, generic info at so-and-so LLP.com. We want it going to individuals so we know it gets dealt with. You say which method you said. I'm going to say I did email on this. I will click continue. Now it's pulled this information through from the data that was put in as part of the application. So I put Barry Allen's first name, last name, the firm Allen LLP, and this email address in when I did the original application. And because I said this is the person I've served, it's pulled the information through. There's no need for you to change. I'm going to say I served them today, 23rd. Job titles, optional, just a piece of information, not necessary. Confirm that I've served the application and supporting documents, and the information here is accurate to the best of my knowledge. Click continue. The next question, is there any reason why this person shouldn't be invited? If this person is the right person to invite, you click yes and click complete. If they're not the right person to invite, if there is some reason why they shouldn't be, you would click no, you give the information here, and then we at registry would manually contact those details there. If you are saying it's someone other than the person you told us was a representative, we've asked for an explanation why, because this should only be a few days between the point you submitted your application and the point where this is happening. So if there has been a change in those few days, we'd like to know why. But here I'm going to say, yes, this is the correct person. See, I have confirmed service. If there were others here, they'd be black until I've done those individually. I would then click submit. Just a moment. And you will see here, because under the new rules, the notice of objection is due 14 days after service, the system has automatically worked out. There is this whole section here where key information, key dates are going to be indicated here. As you know, when a hearing is listed, the appellant's case is due 8 weeks before, the respondent's case 6 weeks, and the hearing bundle 4 weeks. The system is going to fill that information in once the case is listed. The statement of facts and issues is going to be due 20 weeks after the date of invite to list. So when we invite you to list, the date, the statement of facts and issues will fill in. We really try to give as much benefit as we can here and try to really help parties as much as we can on information, make things clear. These aren't fixed. If parties need to agree a different timetable and agree that with the court, we can update that information. It's not locked in, but it shows here in a very easy to see place the key pieces of information. I'm just going to refresh because there will be another, and here it is, confirmation of service. And this is a message to you to say, thank you for your further service. We're now going to contact the respondents. What I'm going to do quickly here, I'm jumping to a different one. I'm now logged in as Barry Allen. And if I refresh this screen, scroll down because I've got these in a weird linked order. There we are. I'm now, as a respondent, able to view this case file, view the document, and lodge my notice of objection as appropriate. One of the things to know I didn't point out earlier, at the bottom of this screen are links to the Supreme Court and jcpc practice directions, rules, fees, and guidance documents. So we really try to make it really a one-stop shop with links to everything nice and clear. We have 8 minutes of our session left. That's really what I wanted to show you. I appreciate it was quite a canter through, but I'm hoping that gives you an idea of really how straightforward and simple this system is. And we will now switch to some questions. There's anything to add, Laura?
I think that's right. Thank you so much, Dan. I agree it is a real canter through, but we've recorded this and I think people can use it for reference later when they go back in and actually do file or do begin to use the portal. So please do feel free to watch it as many times as you want to. I can see we've got some questions. So
yeah, we've got a question from Nicola asking, will the portal and practice directions and guidance include a pro forma for all the information needed to fill the forms online or obtaining instructions?
I don't think we thought that was necessary.
We haven't done it because you can go and you can start a draft application and just flick through to see what all the information in there. We haven't done an offline copy of the form as such, because you can just go in and flick through to see what's needed.
And I guess download an empty version.
Yeah.
Download an empty version.
Although actually, just to say, you can't download a completely empty version, because the reason there's a note actually appears on there. You can't download the form until you've filled in the first 2 pages of step 1. The reason for that is until you've actually completed those first 2 steps, there is no data on the system. There's no case file created, so nothing for the system to pull that data from. But once those first 2 pages are complete, you can, if you want, to be honest, put nonsense in those things, because you can go back and edit them before you submit. So you can put nonsense in the first 2 pages, extract and have the whole thing blank and do it there.
And to the extent that you want to go back and watch this webinar again and take notes of what we're going to be asking you, that might be an idea as well.
Perfect. So next question from Louise, will the portal send an alert if a time limit is due to expire?
No, I don't think we do, and I think the reason we thought not is because there has to be a certain level of responsibility there. We set out the dates clearly in the portal, and very much responsibility is on the users to go into the portal, and they'll be there set out very clearly for you.
Perfect, thanks, Laura. Next question is, will the respondent need to use the email address that we have provided for them on an application for permission to appeal to be able to register and log into the system?
The initial login will be on whichever email address was given, because that's the email address that the system uses to generate the invitation. This is where that option is to put different information in to explain it to someone different. One thing I should say though, all parties have an option to have up to 3 registered portal users per case. So if, for example, the senior partner's information has been put down, the senior partner can respond to the invite, set it up, and then add somebody else from their firm on as a registered user who has full access and full authority to act. It doesn't matter if you're the very first user added or second or third, or if people come on and off and you're the 7th person within the life of the case to have access to it for your party. You all have the same access rights, because you are treated as the registered portal user. Also, one of the 3 you can have active at any one time.
That's a great question, thank you.
Was that everything that's in the chat? But if anyone else has any questions in the last 4 minutes, please pop them in now.
If not, thank you so much for joining. We hope it's been helpful. As I said, we are going to link this on the website, so it'll be available. Just because we know it is all quite theoretical until you get in there, until you're filing your own cases. There is a lot of guidance that's going to be there, not just this webinar. The PDs are really thorough. The portal practice direction does set out and explain further how the portal is going to work in practice. And we are also available. We just ask that you do the work first before you come to us. But we do know that for your first time you are going to need a walkthrough. Can see some people are typing. Anything you wanted to add, Dan?
No, not at the moment. As Laura said, we are working on a huge number of guidance documents, FAQs, similar. Yes, Louise, both the old and new PDs will be on the website. Because obviously cases that already exist pre-portal go live will be under the previous practice directions, and ones done from go live will be under new practice directions, so they'll be there.
Well, great, thank you so much. We really appreciate you attending and for everyone's interest in this, and for everyone's patience while we get going. But thank you, and best of luck when you do get going with it. Thank you.
Thank you.